Hello and welcome to the latest video hosted by Packaging Europe. As part of our Sustainability Perspective series, we're sharing interviews with thought leaders from across the packaging value chain. And today we'll be focusing on the hot topic of sustainable e-commerce. I'm Libby Munford, editor at Packaging Europe, and I'm pleased to sit down today with Daniela Dorner, e-commerce director at Mondi Group. Hi, Daniela.
Hi, hello.
Hi,
good to be here.
Thank you for joining us. So firstly, could you tell me briefly about your role at Mondi?
Certainly. So as you've mentioned, my role is Group eCommerce Director at Mondi. And in that role, I'm responsible for, on the one hand, developing and implementing the strategy across all the segments for e-commerce. And on the other hand, for the positioning of Mondi as the home of e-commerce. And so my role encompasses various aspects, starting from strategy, as just mentioned, but also business development, marketing aspects, communication elements, but also very important market intelligence, and as well market intelligence leading then to further insights around innovation and how we can spur that across the group. Obviously, as a group function, this is nothing I do alone, but here we collaborate closely with all our segments, and it's a true group effort.
Lovely, thank you. And today we're here to discuss the e-commerce sector and how it's here to stay, but obviously it needs to be sustainable and green for our future. Can you give me an overview of how you see the European market today when it comes to e-commerce and the packaging sector?
Thank you for the question. I'm happy to give a little overview from my perspective. So as we all experience as consumers, this market is growing tremendously, and it has been growing in the past, even spurred further by the pandemic, but it will also continue to keep growing. What we do observe is also that in certain markets, which are already like the more mature e-commerce markets in Western Europe, we already see that there is quite a lot of stability, but still continuous growth. But then looking further a little bit towards the Eastern European countries, there the growth is even more significant in percentage, starting from a lower basis, of course. But still, this means that throughout Europe, the market is extremely dynamic, growing, and keeps to be very interesting. And what we have also observed with that is that putting ourselves into the shoes of brand owners, that this development poses also very interesting opportunities, but maybe also new challenges, right? And that the decision, how do you reach now your consumers through the digital space and then through the delivery of packages to their homes, how do you reach them properly and deliver the same brand experience, is quite an interesting question. And I do believe that packaging in that sense can also be a communication element for those brand owners. And then we have also asked consumers, specifically in Austria, Germany, Poland, and the Czech Republic, what they think about how e-commerce will continue to develop. And research findings show that also consumers state they will continue to shop online. And we also found out that there is a very interesting large target group, let's call them silver surfers, so the generation 60 plus, which is quite powerful and quite substantial, let's say. And they also plan to continue shopping online. More than 90% state they will continue to source online. And lastly, what the research also shows is that the need for sustainability and the need for the request for convenience when it comes to the packaging is also clearly visible. So also here from the research perspective, it's underlined that e-commerce continues to grow, but it must be green.
Mm-hmm. So you mentioned briefly there that there's some challenges and opportunities in this market. What are they, and how can packaging be part of the solution?
When answering that and thinking about that, let's briefly reflect on the e-commerce supply chain. And I think it's fair to acknowledge that the whole industry is relatively young. And so also the supply chain and all the supply chain processes in the e-commerce industry are relatively young. And when we look back at what has been achieved already, we see quite a lot of improvements on efficiency, on performance, and on sustainability as well. But with the increasing number of shipments and the increasing number of orders and sometimes also returns, certain key topics continue to appear. And one of them is that there's still quite a lot of plastic in use when it comes to the packaging for those e-commerce shipments. And secondly, the packaging has to be optimized, and there's still some room to further improve there. Let's briefly stay with the first topic. There's still a lot of plastic in use. I think we can observe on various edges that there are ongoing efforts to try out new materials, and there is also a lot of push, also driven from consumer side, to use more sustainable materials. Amongst those, paper is of course a viable option. And thinking about the second topic, so the room to improve when it comes to optimization, I think every company is, and packaging designers, but also brand owners take this topic seriously. But I feel that there's still way to go, and there's a lot of opportunities lie still in there. Mm-hmm. What is important in that matter is that we continue to innovate all together, all the players in the e-commerce value chain, and that we really understand that, yes, packaging can play a vital role in making e-commerce more sustainable, more environmentally sustainable, with right sizing, optimizing, and so on and so forth.
Mm-hmm. So as I understand, Mondi obviously has a clear awareness of sustainable e-commerce packaging, and it offers a multi-level portfolio. Can you tell me a bit about this and how you innovate for each of your clients? How do you work together to find the best solution?
Certainly. So you already touched when we think of our customers and we want to suggest them and consult them on choosing the next option for packaging of their products. We always start with the customer in mind, with their product in mind. What are their needs? Which consumer are they serving? And lastly, what are their supply chain challenges? So which options do they choose here? Because all of that determines what the packaging must be able to endure during the whole process. So when our packaging designers and our sales colleagues sit together with the customers, we innovate along the so-called 3E approach. And what does this mean? So we want to design a new packaging design as economic, efficient, and easy. Economic and efficient, leading to optimization, cost optimization, space optimization in terms of logistics processes, in terms of potential waste avoidance, or any other costs involved in the fulfillment area. And thinking of easy, what do we mean here? It should deliver convenience to the consumer, easy to return, easy to open, easy to recycle, and with this deliver an optimum consumer experience as well. So what we end up with is then a quite fast and also a safe process to create a fit for purpose product. And fit for purpose is sustainable by design, right? With optimum product protection at optimized material usage. And something I would like to mention at this point is we have just recently announced that we opened so-called think boxes in several of our Mondi corrugated plants. And these are exactly places where we come together with customers. We invite them to challenge us, to think about what can we improve on their product packaging. We co-create new solutions together. We also improve on skills. Yeah, sometimes it's also about a consulting process. We try to inspire, and in the end, come up with a new product and happy customer and consumer at the end. But we also, next to developing, we also verify then in the end, does this product really fulfill all the criteria and meet all the demands and challenges in the logistics chain? And here specifically in the Mondi Group Consumer Engagement Center, in that think box, we have also installed an ESTA lab, so where a laboratory where we can then also issue process certificates and really test a new packaging and a new product in all aspects. And here we are also proud members of the Amazon approved PASS network. So this is a service which we can then offer on the one hand to existing customers to help them optimize in their process, but also to anyone in the market who needs such a certification or consultancy on that process.
So when it comes to the subject of material, what can you tell me about the different options?
Thank you for that question. Certainly, let's look into the different options. So as a large packaging and paper group, we do have a quite broad portfolio for e-commerce packaging. On the one hand, we have our converted products, be it corrugated boxes, corrugated mailers, or paper-based mailer bags. But then we do also have the huge competency in base materials, starting from uncoated fine papers to a wide range of containerboard products and also dedicated craft papers. Let's think of the craft papers a little bit. We do have here a quite wide range with optimized technical specifications specifically for the needs and demands in the e-commerce value chain. And let's think of one product. It is, for example, when you need a high tearing resistance and you want to have a special natural touch and feel, and you want to use this product, for example, to produce paper-based mailer bags, or you want to produce for e-grocery shopper bags, then we have the right product for that. Or another customer, for example, wants to have more brilliant and vibrant colors with their print. So they would choose, for example, a white craft paper to reflect also their brand image even better on that. But then we also add to this range with base materials, which can be used to produce paper-based tapes, for example, to seal boxes and keep them closed. Or we do also have the right paper product, which can then further be converted into paper-based cushioning material, also quite an interesting area of application. So in the end, along the value chain, we do innovate and we do continue to innovate to always come up with additional products and solutions from base materials to converted products all along the value chain.
Mm-hmm. So when it comes to the value chain, can e-commerce packaging become more sustainable and fit for purpose? How do we cut CO2 emissions overall?
Let me start by stating that we strongly believe that sustainability and convenience is not mutually exclusive. It can come both hand in hand. And when we think of fit for purpose, what does that mean? Yeah, we want to really optimize a packaging to protect the product which is inside. This is the key most important thing, because nothing is more expensive in terms of total effort and total cost than sending again and replacing and so on. So we want to protect the product which we pack, but we want to do that at minimum material usage. So on that end, we optimize resources which we use, right? Mm-hmm. And then when we have an optimal packaging, it's then again sustainable by design. So we have the best and optimum use of all aspects. And something which we should also consider is how can we design already a packaging product so that it's easy for the consumers to maybe use it again for the return shipment. So this is also an element where we can already think about that and reflect it in the design process. And let's think again also on space optimization. There is still, this is one of the key topics which consumers find very annoying when packaging is really oversized. And we can do our part here and we can optimize it and make sure that we utilize the space as good as we can, and we do not have any void, so any empty space in the packaging. And then again, thinking further along the value chain and supply chain, this also means that the packaging will use less space in the truck. And again, here we also optimize then the transport utilization and contribute here as well. What we also want to emphasize is that it's not only about how do we innovate and which products and packaging material do we create and how do we innovate on that end, but also for us as Mondi, which kind of responsibility can we take further when it comes to sustainability. So we have sustainability as really a core element in our strategy. And we do set ourselves as well ambitious targets. What exactly do we want to do and what do we want to achieve to contribute to a better world? We summarize that in the MAP 2030 targets. It's our Mondi action plan. And we do focus here on circular-driven solutions, so keeping materials in circulation, which are created by empowered people, and ultimately take action on climate.
Lovely, and thank you for answering all my questions. Finally, I would like to know the significance of e-commerce packaging in regards to creating a sustainable future. I mean, why is this sector so important, and how can we add value to the conversation when we're looking at e-commerce?
Let's just summarize again that certainly e-commerce is gaining momentum, has been gained substantial momentum during the pandemic, but it will continue to grow. And secondly, let's keep our consumers' preferences in mind. They want to have a more sustainable option in packaging, and they challenge brand owners, and together with brand owners also then suppliers, on the sustainability of a packaging material. So the wave that is hitting us all together in the e-commerce sector is just getting bigger. Yeah, the challenges are similar, the challenges are the same, but we need to take a greater sense or feel this greater sense of urgency, and we really need to take action. And all together we need to understand that we need to optimize at all ends basically. And we need to also consider the role which packaging can play in creating this more sustainable e-commerce value chain, let's say. On the one hand, to protect the product which is inside as a key prerequisite, to use it for brand owners as a communication element, but then in the end, optimized to contribute making e-commerce more sustainable and greener. And certainly we believe that packaging and packaging materials can play a vital role in that sense.
Yeah, it's definitely a sector that I'm intrigued to see kind of the innovation and what will be happening in this area over the next few years even. So thank you very much for joining me today, Daniela, and for sharing your insights with our audience.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. It's my pleasure to speak with you.
Yeah, of course. And thank you to our audience for watching. Please make sure to subscribe to Packaging Europe and follow us on LinkedIn and Twitter to keep up to date with all our latest news. Bye.